I see the spread.
Oh.
I don't know, that's the plane, oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a cesspool of germs.
Yeah, okay. I avoided the bathroom both times.
Totally. Yeah, stay away from any liquid when you're flying.
You're ready to bring the relations that way back as well.
It's still,
How you doing?
Not so-
Yeah, and then,
well, so I dropped under the go, I dropped off the truck and board this morning and the firefighters kind of pulled in behind me. They were throwing medicine. So they're.
Take 20 seconds.
Dad and I were going for supper the other day, so they're-
If it was something, we sorted it out.
They're doing
Crews everywhere. I
low
was going to my land this morning and
you're doing the which?
fired up.
I'm not doing that more professional.
Like taking the class on the water? Oh,
Yeah, exactly. I mean.
Doesn't make a kid, man. It's the last week of class, last week of regular classes.
Here's some shit.
well, if you ever take kids on a canoe trip, let me know, because I've got a brand new canoe that sits in under my deck that I never use.
I'm getting a video. Left you my chair. Set to the lowest setting. Very comfortable. Thank you for something. I would be quite nervous going into. I'd pick certain. I wouldn't take everybody.
No. Well, there's spots on the river that you can actually get out and walk on, because it's only 8 deep.
Unavailable?
I got a con.
Oh,
Or another
sorry.
form or something, I think you want to change the. Okay, that's with you. You're Lori.
You saw the video of the ladder truck.
Thank you. Yeah.
Did I show you that?
Thanks so.
Pop
You're pretty regular, right? Probably not usually when you're around.
No, different areas.
How long does the day go for you?
I'm assuming we're,
Last week of classes, then final.
yeah.
And then, it was like 2 days on that last week there here, like grade 8 farewell.
Yeah, just go.
4,600 liters in it.
You did show me that.
Oh, I thought I did. But they're ready to go to grade 9 and I'm ready to send them.
Not there.
Yep. You don't have to go and start your course. I'm giving you everything I can.
See it?
I showed you that again.
Oh, yeah, I'll pull the agenda. I need to pull up. Yes. Yeah.
What are your big summer plans?
I'm not ready.
Oh, we don't have a regular director. of Bible. I think you're there.
Over there eating.
Probably be open. Taking a turn.
Hi, Sam.
Oh, okay.
That was your day. Good.
So,
And I've got the age.
That'll be interesting.
Week. Well, they're like, you should do the junior high week because you're, you know.
yeah,
I'm like, you know,
it's nice to go down and have the younger.
Just
More
so. Just so good.
Yeah, exactly. Must be long. Yeah. there's a big difference between Fernando and 1 year, right? 12 and 13.
Yeah.
Big difference, right? That'll kill you. Brad's not coming to you? I still got time. Where?
He's still
Weird. Weirdly, it's like, I know, it's unsettling, it's weird.
Usually they're just getting their, trying to hurry up meat.
I know. Bizarre.
And then my kids will be up there, helping out, solidly 3 weeks each. At least. Isabel for sure.
What are you talking about?
Had the Bible camp, yeah. So. I don't know. Might be empty nesters for a little while this summer. And then just camping to Hilliard's Bay September long.
Oh, yeah, something else.
So you got
Let's try.
all your holidays in that, I guess. You're gonna have to go back and
We don't want.
walk over those stakes there all day.
But,
They can email me.
We're gonna take another week off. Off in August, I'm just gonna go to,
Don't take it wrong.
I am home.
Just going to
But
the
being there,
family
the
staff
amount of time
and
you
her
have,
brother.
there's probably a lot of ways.
All on board, I guess coming his way, but they adopted his wife's son, and to get a child, a passport in Malaysia takes years.
30,
Like he's like 6 years old. And it'll be his first, he's coming here for his first trip.
Yeah, Kate will tell me that.
You can accumulate that, so, you know, if you want to do that. Well, I'm not. I could. Yeah. Do you want to just give it, I only 4 days and 6 weeks.
Yeah, you'd have to hold up a sign. Too late.
Okay, my camera's on. And I get the ugly curtains in the background. Thanks a lot, Kelly. It looks like a real diet.
Well, she's unmuted.
I don't think she's by herself.
Hello, Shelley.
No, can we put pants on? You walking around in his underwear.
Hey.
Oh, it's 5 o'clock.
Gotta be everywhere.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll call the regular town council meeting to order for June 12th at 5 p.m. So we've got Councillor Shannon virtually, and we've got Brandon Doze in the audience and our presenters in the audience, and so is our reporter. So we're ready to go. So everyone's got the agenda in front of them. Are there any additions or deletions? I have nothing to bring forward, Your Worship. Great. Would someone care to propose a motion? Councillor Good?
Yes, so moved.
Okay, Councillor Good moves the council adopt the agenda of June 12th, 2023, regular council meeting as presented. All those in favor?
In favor?
Yeah, Shelley, well, yeah.
Yes.
Whichever way you want to do it. Yeah.
Okay, I
Okay, thank you. We have the minutes of May 23rd. You've had a chance to review them. Are there any edits that someone wants to bring up? Does someone care to propose a motion for that one?
I can,
Deputy Mayor, oops. Deputy Mayor first on this one, and then Shelley will get you.
Move the council meeting minutes as presented.
Okay, so the minutes, of May 23rd, all those in favor? Okay, everybody's in favor. Public hearings, we don't have any. However, we have a presentation from the Peace River Boating Association. So if you just want to come forward to the microphone and turn on press one of the buttons so it turns red and just leave it on and present away. And if you say your name into the minutes, that's good too. That's
Felix Bergeron.
make me laugh.
Yeah, you know,
Councilor Shannon, you might just have to follow along with the link for the presentation. Okay.
you guys can all see the screen. Okay. Yeah, so I'm Felix Bergeron, president of the Peace River Boating Association. I'm here to share, I guess, what our goals are this year and what we're doing, and look for some help and support from the town of Peace River. So the Peace River Boating Association is a non-for-profit organization, consists of a board of directors, members, and subcommittees. Our mission to maintain, improve, and develop the two boat launch facilities within the town of Peace River. And our vision is to create a welcoming environment for individuals and families with shared interests in all forms of river boating and waterfront activities. Board of directors is myself, James Lawrence is vice president. We have a few different vice presidents. They kind of look after the subcommittees. Blair Van Bush, Tyler Braun. We currently have a vacant secretary position. Our treasurer is Lori Surhan, director Greg Bernetic, and Kyle Pedluck. There are core initiatives, the Town Peace River boat launches, the Peace River Gold Cup, and the Herb Sets Memorial Poker Rally. Those are three things we look after every year. The Town of Peace River boat launches, so the North End boat launch. We're currently working with the Town of Peace River, the federal government, Small Crafts and Harbors, Department of Fisheries and Oceans on that project. We haven't really heard much from the government for some time. Yet this seems to be pretty slow moving. So we're not exactly sure what the timeline is to get that completed, but it's in the works. The West Peace boat launch and dock facilities. So in 2022, we stripped the old dock, did a bunch of repairs. It was repainted. New decking was purchased, and this year we're going to be putting the dock back together, the ramp installed, and dock put back into the river to be used. Total budget for that project was $110,000. The concrete alone is going to be $70,000. Now we're just met with Tanya and Brian last week. They gave us the go ahead we're doing kind of a park area now at Lower West Peace now. I don't know if you guys have seen the drawings of that. Yeah, some of you have, some of you haven't. So we're going to be putting in cleaning up that whole site and putting in 6 picnic tables and porta potties on an elevated site. It won't be as high as the dike. It'll be maybe half as high as the dike, but it'll be a separate platform from where the parking area is, and that will be for everybody to use as a day use area. And that was kind of our phase 1, and our phase 2. We're hoping to maybe, if everything works out good, to extend that further north and put a park for kids down there as well. So ongoing projects. The Peace River Gold Cup is an annual jet boat race that has brought in teams and spectators from all over Peace River. They're all across Alberta, BC, and Northwest Territories. In the past, the event has even brought teams and spectators from the United States, Mexico, and New Zealand. Every 4 years, the Peace River Boating Association hosts the World Jet Boat Championships. It helps build exposure and profile of the region. Funds from the event go towards maintaining the boat launches. Last year, we had 9,000 or 8,100 page views on Mighty Peace Tourism's website. So it was the most visited page on Mighty Peace Tourism last year. We had a video that went viral from the races last year that had just about 6 million views. Peace River World Cup race this year, July 28th, 29th, 30th. And the World Jet Boat Marathon went back in 2025 on July 4th to 14th. We're not exactly sure what days are going to be in Peace River, but there should be 3 days between the 4th and 14th in Peace River. The short video recap from last year's race. There's sound there somewhere. Doesn't matter.
It might be just too low.
It's a short 1 minute and a half video. We only had 11 race boats last year. It's the lowest turnout we've ever had. Due to probably COVID and 2 years of absence, it just kind of, a lot of people didn't pull their things out of the garage, and we're hoping for a better turnout this year. Get everybody excited about it again after the races last year. There's a few new faces that'll turn up, and we're hoping for at least double the boats this year. The Herb Stutz Memorial Poker Rally is held every year. This year's gonna be August 19th. We're gonna start promoting that on social media here soon. And hopefully we have a good turnout and some good weather for that. It's always fun for all the families. So we've been working very closely with Mighty Peace Tourism Association, and they're creating some attention, I guess, on social media for us. This is whatever floats your boat. So it's a photo and video contest till August 31st. So people send in videos or pictures, and then we'll put a kind of a vote and see which one wins. And there's a $500 gift basket that Outlaw Eagle Manufacturing has put together to give out. So again, this is just to promote the region. So they have to put a hashtag Peace River voting and on social media to get to enter the contest. So again, just to draw some attention to the region and get people excited about it. What Mighty Peace has also created, we're calling it a jet boat circle tour. They've created a few different circle tours over the years, and this is what they've done for us is basically get tourists involved in all 3 races. So there's the Grand Prairie race, which is this weekend, and the race in Taylor, which is on July long weekend, then our race on the 28th. So they're kind of incorporating all 3 events in one and giving everybody the information. I won't go through all the details, but so there's 3 stops, 385 kilometers, 3 separate weekends. I'll just go quickly through it and show the Peace River part. So there's Grand Prairie, Taylor, Town of Peace River. It's pretty interesting what they've done for us. I'll scroll to Peace River. This is Taylor, Grand Prairie. So the Peace River, so they talk about basically a quick little spiel on our town, on the history of the race, and then best locations to watch the Peace River Gold Cup, and then places to stay, places to eat, and other activities must do and see in the region. So again, it's just to get people attracted to come to our town and participate in our activities and spend some money. So yeah, Mighty Peace Tourism has been big help in the last 2 years, I guess, with the World Club. They're big help. That's it. Questions or comments?
So the day use area, that will be ready for this year?
Yes. Yep. We just received, Tanya had put it out to the public, I guess, to see what kind of feedback there was going to be. There was very, very little negative feedback, mostly all positive. There's a couple things we have to do. So we have to go back there now and kind of delineate exactly where we have to clear some of those trees. So once we delineate where that's going to be, we have just a rough sketch right now on a drawing. And right now, once we delineate that, we have to get a bird study before we remove any trees. And then within 7 days of that bird study being complete, we can start removing the trees and moving some soil and getting it ready. So we're this week or next week, we'll have this delineated and biologists come over and do the bird study. So it's going to be a big change in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, great idea. Councillors, do you have questions?
Presentation covered stuff really well.
I have one.
Yes, Councillor Shannon?
I'm curious. I remember when it was the River Rats. Did the River Rats morph into the boating club? And could you tell me just a little bit about the history of it? How that?
So the River Rats kind of dissolved in the late 90s. And there was a bank account there. And nobody really did too much with it. There's a few $1,000s. I think there was under $5,000 for a few years. And in 2003, there's a group of us that decided to kind of reanimate that, and we just changed the name to the Peace River Boating Association in 2003, and then took over since then. And it's been the same, since 2003. The Peace River Boating Association has been looking after the boat launches and the boat races and the poker rally.
And just one more question. What would you like to see with the boat races here in Peace River, like what's your goal there? Like, would you like to see them grow? Like what's your?
Yeah, so every year, but prior to COVID, it was growing. We've had, I think, the most successful year was 2015. There was, during the Worlds there, we had like 63 boats. So there's a big showing. And I mean, every race team that comes to Peace River usually brings anywhere from 8 to 15, 16 people with them. So you're talking about quite a few, 300 people with the supporting crews for the teams, and they're here for a few days, hotels, food, and then they go home and tell their friends and their families about the beautiful valley they just discovered, and so it really promotes the valley.
Well,
That's
you're
what
doing- oh,
that's what we put the races on for, is basically there's a few guys in the committee that are interested in boat racing, but we put it on to promote the region and to help fund basically the maintenance of the boat launches.
well, you do a really good job. So
Thank you.
So each year the boat launch, the part that you reconstructed this year, you pull it further out of the water?
So in the past, it hasn't been in the water for about, I think, 6 or 7 years. There was a bunch of damage that got done to it, and it wasn't in condition to be used. So in this plan where we're putting the park, where the dock is currently sitting, is going to be basically going straight up and down. It'll be a little bit easier to put in and out. So we're going to kind of cut a patch of trees to tuck it right up against the dike, and it won't be on the road where it used to be. It'll be a lot easier. Like before, we had to have 2 excavators and a dozer to move it, and now we've put wheels underneath it, so we'll be able to go in there with a loader, or
Something easier.
a lot easier, a loader or a grader, hook onto it and move it out of the way, because it does need usually 2 or 3 times a year, depending on water levels. We have to either put it in deeper or bring it back out. So we had to make it a lot simpler, because it just wasn't being used because of the complexity of putting it in and out.
Councilors, any further questions? Deputy Mayor Ford?
Just looking forward to being a support boat for you this year.
Yes, absolutely. Love to have you on.
Well, it looks like Mighty Peace Tourism, I know they've stepped up the game with lots of things, and it's nice to see that the boat is part of that, and that they're helping you advertise and whatever they can do,
Yeah.
sort of thing. So that's great. Well, and we hope that the federal government, whatever their part of this is, moves somewhat swifter.
Yes.
And I hope that you don't discover any birds that only have one bird that needs those trees or something.
Yeah, well, they can be relocated, but
Yeah.
it might slow down our process a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah. Well, thanks for all your work and your group as well, and good luck with the races this year and all the other projects that,
Great.
yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Felix.
Have a good evening.
You as well. Okay, the next topic on our agenda is the topic bylaws, and we have the tax installment payment plan bylaw with Director Mugford.
Evening, Madam Mayor. Bylaw 2137 proposes a very small change to the existing bylaw, which is 1887. 1887, in there's language which restricts residents when they apply to be a part of the monthly tax installment payment plan. They have to apply by December 15th of the basically before the next year starts. They have to apply by that date. And if they don't, then they're not eligible to participate in the following year. In practice, we haven't been following that anyway, as people have been applying. If they applied part of the way through the year, we've been starting them in the program. And this bylaw was initially identified back in 2018, and at some point it just through turnover or whatnot, it got missed, and we identified it again this year, and that's why we're bringing it forward. So that's the only change. Thank you.
Sounds like a good idea, but just one question on number 7. It talks about if the first 6 months of the taxation year payment shall be calculated at 1/12 the prior years, and then after that it's 1/6. So if somebody comes in on, I don't know, they bought a house and they come in on March 1st. They go on the 1/12 rate. Or they go on?
Correct, yeah, they'd use the previous year rate. So once, again, the language here is to align with when we normally levy our taxes. So.
Councilors, any questions on this one? Councilor Shannon, do you want to start us off with maybe a motion to go to first reading?
I can do that.
Okay.
So I'll move that council provide first reading to tax installment payment plan bylaw number 2137.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion? Okay, so Councillor Shannon is giving a wave, I think, but we can't see her on the screen now, so we need to figure out what's what. Councillor Shannon, are you in favor?
Oh, yes, yes, I thought you wanted me to wait. No,
Yeah,
that-
you were waiting. We just had the shared screen happening, so thank you. It is carried. Any further discussion? Somebody prepared for another motion?
I'll move the council provide second reading to bylaw number 2137.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Thank you. Sorry for the confusion there.
That's okay.
It is carried. We can now see you, so you can wave your hand again. To go to third reading, we need, first of all, it to be placed for third reading, so
Put a motion on the floor, your worship, that the tax installment payment plan bylaw number 2137 be placed for third reading.
okay, any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion? It is carried. Third reading, Councillor Good,
I'll move third reading of tax bylaw, pardon me, of bylaw 2137.
thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion? Okay, it passes third reading. Thank you, Ms. Mumford. Unfinished business, surprisingly, we don't have any. New business. We have the ladder truck update, and Chief Harris is coming forward.
Your worship and council, as many of you are aware, we took delivery of the new aerial apparatus in May. So this is a substantial asset for not only town of Peace River, Great Bears, the fire department, but also our neighboring communities. And with the type of structures we have in town, the capabilities that this unit brings has been long sought after. So we're very appreciative of the support of this present and previous councils enabling this to occur. So this apparatus is named Ladder 1. We name all our units. So it's a Pierce, as the manufacturer, Pierce Enforcer 110-foot ascender platform. The platform refers to the bucket on the end of the ladder. So some aerial apparatus can just be a ladder on its own. But the bucket on the end of the platform gives us much greater capabilities for rescues and that kind of thing. So since we took delivery of this in May, we've been putting on all the tools and equipment to ready it for service. Fire department members have received training, quite a lot of training. Weekend before the one just passed. We had some manufacturer training from a dealer from the manufacturer technician who came up from Wisconsin, where it was manufactured. And then we also took 2.5 days of aerial training from a certified instructor. So there's members that have received all that training. As you can probably understand, it's quite a different piece of apparatus than what we had previously, which is our engines. The training and required knowledge on stabilizing the unit and operating the platform is very new to us. So we have taken that training and now ready to officially put it into service. So interesting enough, while we were taking that training on the Saturday, a week or so ago, we did receive a call for a rescue of a construction worker on the old highway bridge that had fallen down. Some of the scaffolding It wasn't in the river, it's still on the scaffolding off the side of the bridge where they were sandblasting the old paint. So we responded and we realized we did need an overhead anchor to raise the patient out. So members went down, put him in a stretcher basket, and then we used the ladder, which has a hook, rated hook just behind the basket, to hook on our rope rescue equipment and raised him up, and then we're able to move the ladder over and lower him down on the deck. So this is one of the kind of rescue scenarios that we had designed into the truck by having that rescue hook installed, and this is what we planned out at the pre-construction phase. So didn't think we'd be using it quite so soon or early, but it was very timely, and we had the instructor with us at the time. So although we were still training on the truck, we had the certified instructor overseeing our operations. So it was all very safe. And I think the worker didn't have any serious injuries in the end, so that's good. But that is actually one of the reasons we were looking to get a truck of this capability. We could use that over a riverbank as well if we needed to do a rescue, that kind of thing. Anything where we basically need a sky hook or something in the air to hook equipment on to raise the patient up. So now the truck is ready to service, sort of fire department tradition. When we get a new vehicle, is to have a special ceremony to put the truck into service. We are planning to do that next Tuesday, June 20th, starting at 6:30 at fire hall number 1. And please, this would be my invitation to you all to attend if you wish. We have also invited the Council of County of Northern Lights, past and present council, as they always are supportive of our capital projects. We will also be inviting previous members of previous council to this one, as they were the ones who approved the capital in the first place. If you would like, we will have the ceremony at the fire hall. Put a few words, and then we bless the truck, push it into the fire hall. There will be coffee and cake, and then we will actually set the truck up on the street on the east side of the fire hall. So if any members wish to experience going up in the bucket, we can certainly accommodate that. We can set you up on the roof of the fire hall.
But it's not like one of the circus things where you go fast, it's gentle, right?
No, it's very gentle and controlled. If anybody is wishing to do that and take part, protective equipment requirement will be a helmet, which we will provide, and also a ladder belt, which just goes around the waist, but it hooks into a hook in the bucket, so that there's no chance of you falling out. So if you did want to participate,
Not like a midway ride.
bear that in mind with what you might be wearing that day. So,
How many people can fit in the bucket?
so it is rated for 750 pounds dry weight, so that's when we're not flowing water in it. So that's about 3 people. When we are flowing water in it, it's reduced to 500 pounds because of the weight of the water. We probably won't be flowing any water though. I mean, we may have seen we did some training around town. We have been flowing water to test it all. I believe Councillor Ford posted some pictures of that online.
Well, the bucket is bigger than I kind of envisioned. It's quite a big piece of bucket, I guess you'd say.
And it has the advantage, we can go out to a window of a farm building or a deck, and people can basically just sort of step into the bucket. We can go up onto the roof, and you can step in and out of the bucket, as opposed to just a straight ladder where people would have to walk up the ladder. You can put the ladder in position, and then you have to climb the ladder, and any people rescued would then have to be carried down the ladder, which when it's full extent can be quite a task. We did do some training at Heritage Towers, so being the tallest building in town, and we very easily made it to the 6th floor windows, and even we could go up to the roof and even have a ladder to spare. So,
Wow. Well, and the other thing that extendability, so over one of these, I don't know, big, I don't know, truck companies building type things on the West Hill there. If you had to go into the MD to deal with one of those buildings, this would be usable.
yeah, any large building, even like a big box store or Walmart type building, if like a fire, even on the roof, center of that building, very hard to get to without putting firefighters on the roof, which is more dangerous. So as we have this above the roof and put a vast amount of water on the fire, much more than we could from the ground. So
Wow.
even just to go up and take a look at the roof and see what's going on. It does have a camera on the end of the bucket. So we can use that, and that can be viewed from the platform down below. So we don't have to put anybody up there, we can still see what's going on. Or and spray water without having anybody in the bucket. All the controls are operated from the bucket as well as the turntable platform below.
So will most of the firefighters or volunteers and so on be trained on this apparatus or?
Yeah, so we're training the firefighters that are currently our engineers that are already operating our other trucks. And then those are the main ones who will sort of drive the truck, position the truck, stabilize it, and operate the platform from the turntable. And then we're training all our firefighters to operate from the bucket, because they'll be the ones that will be going up there. So we have the two sets of controls, and the one on the ground overrides the bucket in case there's any incidents.
Wow. Councillors, any questions? Councillor or Deputy Mayor Ford?
So when we speak about certified training, I know you and I already had a conversation about it, but so my understanding then, since a lot of the members took the certified training, when you're talking about training other members now, you can do that in-house without having to bring an outside instructor in?
Yeah, we will be able to, because the trainers, we already have fire instructor level training. So with that and having taken the course, we can do that in-house.
And my next question would be, on June 20th, for the ceremony, will you be advertising this to the public, to allow the public to attend?
Yeah, I think we'll put it out there, like we have sort of refreshments there inside the hall. I won't have enough for the entire public, but if the public want to come and observe, we won't be giving kind of rights to everybody. I don't think there'll be time to do that, but for council members and maybe the media, we can do that.
She's shaking her head, no. Yeah, and the reason why I asked that question is because when you and I had the conversation at McHappy Days, when you had the truck on display, there was lots of comments that the kids were at school during that event, and there's lots of feedback from the community that kids want to come home and see this apparatus. So, and my last comment would be great job to you, the department members, on that rescue with that truck the other week.
Any other comments, councillors? Councillor Shannon?
First of all, I just want to say what a beauty. Looking at the pictures, and I've seen a bit online. So I'm going to ask the question because I'm sure there's other people curious like I am that are listening right now. I want to know the history behind the pushing the truck into the fire station, like that ceremony that you do. I'd like to know a bit about like how that.
So it actually goes way back when fire trucks were horse-drawn. So when the fire truck will come back from a call, the horses can't back the truck, the apparatus or the wagons that they used to pull. So the horses would come back to the hole, and then the firefighters would push the apparatus back into the fire hole. So it kind of comes from those days of of horses, yeah.
Okay, thank you. And then if we all go up in that bucket, do we just go up and stay there? Are you gonna swing us around and drive us around, or is it just you go up and just take a look and come down?
I was actually gonna take you up and put you on the roof of the fire hall
And leave us.
and then leave you there until you approve my capital budget for you.
Put me down, I'll be there. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, thank you, and this has been a long time coming. I think it was discussed probably for, I want to say a good 3 years, even though it was on other capital budgets, but the main part was perhaps the last 3 years, and then things moved along, and it also took about a year or so for it to actually get built, right?
Yeah, the whole process does take a while, and that process across North America is actually extending to get new trucks now. It's probably 3, sometimes 4 years before you can get them delivered from ordering or initial ordering. So we will be needing to look at future replacements of other trucks very soon.
It's a process, right? Well, thank you very much, Chief Harris, and we'll all be looking forward to the ceremony next week, and good luck on the use of the truck, and hopefully you don't have to use it too much, but it's there at least. So thank you.
Thank you.
Would someone care to put forth a motion with respect to this item? Deputy Mayor?
I'll put a motion on the floor to accept this for information.
Okay, so all those in favor of that motion? Okay, it is carried. So council members can attend this. That's the general thought behind things here. Community organization, property tax exemption, program update, Director Mugford.
So again, Madam Mayor, this is a briefing note to update council on the COPTER program. So as part of the 2023 budget, we have initially we budgeted, I believe it was $190,000. The actuals came in for 2023 at $201,820.84. So this program is something that was implemented through the MGA, and this is the year that we have all of the previous 3 years worth of applicants that are coming due. So basically, at any time over the past 3 years, when one expired, we were setting their renewal date to be this year, so they'd all come for renewal at the same time. The trend has been over the past few years that the amount's been increasing. So and that's for a few different reasons. We've received applications from new applicants. As organizations and property owners become aware of the program, more organizations are applying to and qualifying for the program. Secondly, some existing organizations have acquired additional property. So when they applied for these properties, they just qualified, so we granted it. And thirdly, there have been coding changes in our tax system to rectify some inconsistencies and errors. So for example, one property was found to have a portion of the assessment coded as municipal, which is automatically exempt, instead the entire property being coded non-profit taxable. And finally, as the assessed values increase on some properties, the exemption amount increases as well. The assessed values range pretty drastically. So the lowest one that we granted was for $34,100, and the highest was for just over $1.5 million. The average assessed value per application is approximately $407,000. So as I say, this year, all of our COPTER applicants will be coming due. And so this will be new applications and renewals will be required to be submitted this fall for the 2024 tax year. The deadline for applications is September 30th, and existing organizations have been notified that this is the final year of their approval, and we're going to send a reminder letter later in the summer. Thank you.
Is this the category that churches would fit under, or are they under something else?
Your worship, churches don't have to apply for it, it's just automatically rated as an exempt property.
Thank you. Any questions of Director Buckler? Okay, so would someone like to put forth a motion? Councillor Good?
I'll move the council accept the briefing note regarding the 2023 copter program for information.
Thank you. Thank you. All those in favor of that motion?
Sorry.
Okay, yes, Councillor Shannon, I think is nodding. You were, we were sharing screen momentarily there. Thank you. It is carried. Thank you. And now Director McFord, the 2024 budget timeline.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a quick update from administration. We've begun the process of planning for 2024 operational capital budgets. Council requested a briefing note be prepared just to outline the timeline of this process. So where we're at with it right now is we're in the process of preparing our 3-year operational plan and our 5-year capital budget. In August, we are hoping to have a budget workshop. And as part of that, just do a presentation on where our reserves are at, propose potential change to that structure, and with council identifying capital projects and have further discussion. September, we will be reaching out for departmental contributions. So all of the supervisors, managers, they all have a say in their own budgets, identifying if there's any new asks, if there's additional maintenance or things like that that need to be identified. And then in October, the directors and the CAO perform our review and refinements. And there's an initial presentation to council at that time on the 2024 operating capital. After it goes to council for an initial look, we'll seek some input from the public and then shoot for November, early December, final approval of both 2024 operating and capital budgets.
Thank you. Any questions of the director? Okay, so we're kind of in the budget process right now, and we are hoping that final approval will happen early December at the latest. That'll be good because usually it's after the new year that, so this is, I appreciate this plan myself, but
It does feel like it just ended.
it does. Okay, and there's a plan for a budget workshop, so this would be at a non-council meeting time sort of thing. Okay. So maybe some dates will start to float around for that so that summer plans can get worked into things. But any further questions of the director on this one? Would someone care to propose a motion?
I'll move the council accept the briefing note regarding the 2024 budget timeline for information.
Thank you. All those in favor of that motion? It is carried. Thank you, and thank you, Director. Fourth item is the 2023 CAO mandate letter, and CAO Miller speaking to this one.
Thank you, Your Worship. So the request for decision that is before you is seeking motion of council to set the goals of the CAO for 2023. Over the last few months, we've had much discussion as we collaborated towards working and setting these goals, which include or touches on emergency response plans and readiness, budget, timeline presentation and adoption, updating a number of policies and bylaws, presentation or development and creation of a utility rate model, and work on an asset management plan. So if any questions, and otherwise, if we could have a motion to confirm.
Any questions, discussion? Okay, so this is basically council and CAO agreeing on CAO's direction for the rest of this year, and updates as we carry along, and it's why some of the things will be discussed at some points in time in the next 6 or so months. So would someone be prepared to put forth a motion to accept this, I think, approve it. Counselor Good, what's your motion?
I'll move the council approve the 2023 CAO mandate letter and respective goals.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. All, it is carried. Thank you very much, Mrs. Miller. Next up, we have the RCMP Community Priorities and Acknowledgement of Consultation. And again, CAO Miller will speak to this one.
Thank you, Worship. So this request for decision is seeking a motion authorizing Mayor Manzer to sign the acknowledgement of consultation and the community priorities that are listed within the acknowledgement. So RCMP did come in March 13th and do a presentation. They sought council's input. And following that, a motion was made identifying 3 priorities of council: downtown crime, crime reduction, and community visibility. The acknowledgement that's been brought forward for signing includes priorities: organized crime, drug trafficking, property break and enter, and police community relations, police visibility, and community youth engagement. So they are slightly different than what council proposed, keeping in mind that it's kind of all inclusive of all of the areas that they serve.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on this one? Councilor Carr?
My one question on this is when we did discuss this, it was mentioned that it says community visibility, but I know a comment was made, I think it may have been possibly even by me about foot patrols downtown, and I've seen nothing in here about requesting foot patrols. I mean, community visibility could mean driving down Main Street in their car. That's not the same as walking down the street. Could we maybe include that somehow in that, maybe as a subtitle or something?
So I think, yeah, absolutely, I could when we respond back. I think that would be so a strategy of meeting the objective would be one of the objectives or strategies would be to enhance foot patrol. But when we return this letter, we'll make mention of that. Absolutely.
Thank you.
And just a note, I have seen the officers doing foot patrol. So
Yeah, I have 2. I just thought it should be in right.
okay, so PCR put forth theirs, and they were put together with other areas that our RCMP look after, and they come up with the 3 general goals, and we're being asked to basically approve the signing of their listing and acknowledge the consultation. So would somebody be prepared to put forth a motion to that effect? Councilor Borchak?
Absolutely. The one thing I would like to suggest to Dave is with the new mobile outreach team coming in, see how much their policing drops to non-crime related calls, and as we track that to see the impact that we have going forward. But I'd like to propose a motion that we approve the signing of the 2023-24 RCMP community priorities acknowledgement of consultation.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor? It is carried. Thank you. Okay, number 6 is the summer social with regional county counterparts. CAO Miller.
Thank you, Your Worship. So this one is a briefing notice just to advise that while we were attempting to make some arrangements with our regional partners to start talking about some regional collaboration on different things, we learned it would be difficult to get together for such a meeting until the fall. So we did have a date planned in council's calendar for some kind of event on June 29th. So we took that opportunity to invite our partners that could attend to have a bit of a meet and greet social, to kind of get to know each other and break the ice sort of thing in advance of future discussions in the fall. And at the same time, we've invited the directors, senior level, senior management team, so we could also come to be familiar and get to know each other. So we have booked the ski hill, and we're having a bit of a barbecue, and it'll be from 4 to 7 p.m. And we hope that each and every one of you will be able to attend.
Thank you. Councilors, any questions, discussion? Someone be prepared to put forth a motion on this matter?
I'll move that council accept the brief note regarding the regional summer social for information.
Thank you. All those in favor of that motion? It is carried. Thank you. So June 24th, 29th. June 29th, 4 to 7. Okay, thank you. Now, information items. The first one is the June 5th Governance and Priorities Committee meeting minutes. The draft is as presented, so review that before next GNP will be in September. Okay. Next one is council communication package. In those communication items, are there any that council wishes to bring forward to highlight? I would like to say the invitations to the Art Hub at the 20-year reception. And it's already passed, but the Peace River Traditional Powwow was it only last weekend before. Anyways, a successful powwow. I can report on that. They had about 80 or so entrants, including 3 or 4 drummers groups. The grads from Holy Family School Division, Peace River School Division, KTC, which is out by Little Buffalo, and Northern Lakes College were all recognized with their eagle feather and blanket. So, councilors, anything else you want to bring up on the communication items? Okay, would someone be able to move the council accept items 10, 1, and 2 for information? Councilor Boychuk so moves. All those in favor? It is carried. Reports, we have the draft minutes of the May 16th Economic Development Committee meeting. Councillor Shannon, would you have any thing to report or highlight from that one?
I didn't attend that meeting, the last one. I was unable.
So this was the May 16th one.
Yes.
Okay, so maybe they'll change their minutes too. Your alternate Brad, were you there? Okay. Okay, well, we've got it in front of us here. It looks like lots of things are happening. I know that the rural renewal stream, they've received acknowledgement for the application, and the rural entrepreneurial update. They are applying and awaiting that. New business, maybe one of the reps could tell me NRED grant. What does NRED stand for? Is that the rural? Is that one of those grants? I just didn't know something. So what is it then?
What's the 32,500 grant that we got?
Okay.
That was the one that Brian Jean, we talked with Brian Jean about at the Economic Development Conference.
Northern Regional Economic Development or something like that. Okay. And there's plans for job fair in the fall. Town business grants are coming along as staff are able to get to them essentially. Encouraging businesses to get their business license, as that helps the Economic Development Committee budget. And working with the boat lodge people, those are the things I highlighted when I read through it. So lots of work happening with the committee, and it's good to see and carry on. Okay, any further questions to pose to the Economic Development Committee that admin could take forward? If not, maybe someone would move that council accept the report 10-1 again. Oh, I see. Okay, under reports, we're accepting report 10-1 for information. Councillor Scannell, maybe?
Absolutely. I'll move that council accept report 10.1 for information.
Okay, all those in favor? Okay, it is carried. I just need to go back to the previous motion, and it should be accept items 9-1 through 9-2 for information rather than 10, okay? I think that's probably friendly, okay? Any notices of motion? Mr. Miller?
And so your wish.
Okay, comments from the public? They're all shaking their heads. Okay, good. Key communication items. Council, what would you bring forward as key communication items? Deputy Mayor?
Definitely the ladder truck.
Okay. Any others? Something happening around town this Saturday perhaps? June 17th?
Lemonade Day.
Lemonade Day. Brad's, all 3 out of the 4 are completed.
Just maybe someone's listening, maybe they're not, but if anyone managed to get carbonation in their lemonade, they automatically get bonus points from me. So
Oh my
they're
goodness.
paying attention.
Well, I know there's been some testing going on at various recipes, but okay, anything further? Northern Sunrises Canada Day celebrations are this Wednesday, the 14th from 4 to 7 p.m. up at the park at the top of the hill. And I think National Indigenous Day is before our next meeting, so June 21. Sagatawa Friendship Center is organizing some events, and there'll probably be some others as well. And the Métis Region 6 has an event on June 17th that they are inviting people to. Anything else going on that you want to bring forth?
Are you sure it's the 17th? I have the 16th down in my calendar for that.
Maybe it's the 16th. And then there's something else on July 7th and 8th. June 16th, okay, this Friday, not the Saturday, right?
Well, yeah.
We'll check it out.
Yeah.
One of those 2 dates are gonna be Métis jigging and so on. Okay, anything further?
The Baptist Church has a service project day also on this weekend on the Saturday in the morning. So there's some graffiti painting happening on the walkway under the bridge. Some garbage cleanup around skate park and a whole lot of stuff going on at Ski Hill. So if you're bored,
Come and volunteer.
absolutely.
Oh, that's nice to see. Okay, anything further? Nope, okay, that might be it for communication from this point. So now, our counselor, okay, going directly into closed, or do you want to break? Okay. Okay, if someone would move us into closed session, Councillor Carr moves council into closed session at 5:58 p.m. in accordance with section 17 and 24 of the Point Act. Thank you and have a good evening.
And I did confirm it is the 19th.
It's which?
The 19th.
The 19th?
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. Friday, June 19th, 10 a.m. to the 13th.
Councilor Shannon, I'm gonna mute and stop this and see if I can stop streaming to YouTube, or if we have to go into a different
Friday, June
meeting.
19th, June 19th.
Sure, whatever you need to do.
Yeah, that's the big.